Hey guys, it's Asha with Rice and Raw, and I want to talk about the 80-20 idea, and that's not the 80-10-10 macro ratio. 80-10-10 macro ratio is where 80% of your calories are coming from carbs, 10% from protein, and 10% from fat, which I do follow the macro ratio at least, and I'm RawTil4. But I also follow the 80-20 idea, and that is where 80% of the time you are eating very, very clean, and 20% of the time you're a bit more relaxed with it. And the way I do that is that 80% of the time I'm eating so clean, textbook RawTil4. I'm having my whole fruits and my whole plant-based foods, and I'm eating cooked starches at night, and 80% of the time that is what's going on. I don't talk about that much because for me, it's really just like breathing or walking or waking up in the morning. It's such a basic part of my life that I don't really talk about it as much, and I feel like people don't really understand that I do eat incredibly clean 80% of the time. But 20% of the time, I let loose. I'm not too worried. I go out to Korean restaurants especially. I Instagram about that a lot. And I eat like Amy's pizza, the cheeseless pizza, the vegan kind. You know, I get more relaxed with things 20% of the time. And for me, that works. And for me, I actually really enjoy that. And I found a way to work that into my lifestyle. I found that when I do eat an Amy's cheeseless vegan pizza, which is still healthier than most people's diets, I am eating a whole head of romaine lettuce, and that's the way I get my greens in. And I know a lot of people say I don't eat enough greens, and I don't. But the only way I really do get in my vegetables and my greens are cooking my vegetables, eating my greens with something that isn't as healthy, and that's how it works for me. And that might be a good suggestion for people who really just hate eating vegetables like I do. That's really the only way I can get them in. And for me, that works. And I really think the best thing to do for any and all humans is to come away from all that processed food. And if you are eating processed food, make sure it's very clean in the general sense where it's not as processed. You know, for the vegan pizza, it's really the only processed thing is the dough part and then the topping where I think it's some kind of balsamic glaze. Other than that, the vegetables are just put on there. And also, so you're coming away from the processed foods and you're eating more and more whole plant-based foods. That is the key to health. And I know that's really general, but really that is the key to health. And then the whole vegan community gets really nitpicky, and then they start going into how many calories, how much raw food, how much this, how much that. And when people don't agree with each other, there's like a lot of clashing. And it really bums me out that people do still clash even as vegans, and you think vegans would be the most compassionate and understanding people, but there's still huge drama in the vegan movement, probably more so than, like, say, the paleo movement. There's probably way more drama in the vegan movement. And I'm sure you guys are like, what are you doing? What is that on the floor? Joe and I, since I live in my own apartment, the beauty of living on your own, we decided to move the bed to the living room because that's where the AC is, and we haven't put the AC in the bedroom yet. And so yeah, that's what you can do when you live on your own. You can sleep, you can put your bed wherever you want. So yeah, I'm just sitting here because it's actually really comfy. So what I was saying was that people get a little up in arms about how clean you should be eating. And, you know, I get from people, you know, that it's disgusting how much, like, salty, fatty foods I post on Instagram, and I'm unfollowing you. And, you know, fine, unfollow me, like, that's fine. But what people need to remember is that everyone is on their own food journey, and it's forever evolving. And no one should really judge that. As long as the person has good intentions and, you know, has that momentum and wants to keep getting better and healthier, then good for them. And it takes a really long time to really clean up your taste buds. For me, it took about a year until I started to think, oh, hey, sorry, I have an itchy face. Until I thought, oh, hey, maybe I should start to clean up my diet a bit because I was eating higher fat, because I was in college and I was on the dining hall plan and higher salt, and I was just relying on what they had at the dining halls. And then I gained like 5 pounds. Like I lost 30 pounds originally eating, this way. And I tried to keep it as high carb as I could. I would eat a raw fruit breakfast, and then for lunch and dinner and second dinner, I would have a cooked vegan meal. And I lost 30 pounds doing that. And then I gained 5 pounds out of nowhere. And I don't really talk about this because I guess it didn't really bother me all that much. But I was like, oh, maybe I should start to clean up my diet. What can I do? Am I comfortable with the whole RawTil4 idea? And previously, I was very uncomfortable with that idea. I felt very deprived, and it's important not to feel deprived on any diet lifestyle because that will hinder your progress in the long run. So I was like, okay, let's try out this RawTil4 idea, see if it works out. And then slowly over about half a year, I lost those 5 extra pounds. Then I lost 5 more pounds. So that worked for me, and I'm still getting healthier and better every single day. And it really just builds on itself. So you really have to see this in a long term, not, okay, I'm going to be eating perfectly by the end of this month, if you just started. For me, it's been a year and 8 months, and I'm still working on eating cleaner and better and healthier. And I felt like I've made huge progress because I used to eat a lot of high fat, high salt, really unhealthy vegan Chinese takeouts. A lot. That used to be like my favorite thing last summer. This summer, I went to a restaurant, Chinese restaurant. I ordered the regular Chinese takeout I usually would, and it was so gross and fatty, and the taste was so salty. I could hardly get through it. I was like, bring on the white rice, and I enjoyed that white rice, and I loved it. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. And I added, a little bit of my original dish in with the fat, but, just to like flavor the rice the littlest bit. But there's no way I could have eaten that whole meal with all that fat and all that salt. It just tasted gross to me. And that took me a year to get to that point. So you got to be ready to put in those few years to start to be really proud of the food that you eat and start to be really confident and comfortable. And I mean, if like a normal person would see my diet, they'd think it was crazy healthy. But if a raw vegan saw my diet, they'd say, oh, that's so unhealthy. I don't know what they're doing. So yeah, it's definitely weird to be in that like middle ground. But the 80-20 idea, I think, really works for me. And I feel like it's a good idea maybe to think about if it could work for you in your life. And, of course, you could change the ratio if you want to be 90-10. You could work that in there. And I just think it's really important to, like, take away all that guilt that people feel on this lifestyle, especially because it is so confined and it is so exact that it's okay to just breathe a little bit and find what works for you, and then slowly work up to being healthier and cleaner and better in your diet. But people just get so mad at other people for eating a little bit less than perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny actually at this point. And yeah, everyone is different to a certain extent. We all have different tastes, different goals. So you have to try to figure out how this works for you. If your goal is to be a cyclist, then of course watching Durian Rider and listening to probably most of what he says is going to really help you. But at the same time, you need to look into the research and actually find out if that's true in your life, because you should not just listen to what someone says online exactly word for word. Like, think about it, research it, think about it some more, apply it into your life, see if it works for you. It's like a whole process. Once you learn something new online, you really need to figure out if that's right in your life. And, it's just people have such different goals. So as my boyfriend, he wants to get more lean and built and have more muscle. Would I suggest he eats the same way as Durin Rider? No. No, I wouldn't. I suggest he'd have a bit more protein. And actually, recently, Hannah, I'll put a link below to her channel. She put up a really great video. I'll actually put the link of the video here then. About, well, it was a video of Durin Rider speaking about if you want, you know, if you need more beans in your diet and why that would be helpful. I thought it was a great video, really great of Durin Rider to talk about these kind of things. I understand that some people get very pure and perfect in this lifestyle, and you know, if that's working for them, great. But what people need to understand is that not everyone wants to eat perfectly pure all the time. And yes, you feel amazing when you're 100% raw, but it might not be worth it to someone. And you need to understand that might not be worth it to someone, just as I would need to understand if it might not be worth it to someone to stop eating meat. You know, like, I just can't change other people's minds. All I can do is help the people who are interested in this lifestyle, share my experience, share my warnings, you know, always eat enough. I talk about this a lot. And I've gotten, honestly, over 10 people come to me and say, I should have listened to you. I didn't eat enough. I binged out like crazy. I gained all this weight. And now I'm finally eating enough. And now it's starting to, you know, all come together. So listen to me with that at least. Or, you know, as I've said, think about it and apply it. And these people, you know, they had to learn the hard way. And that sucks. And the reason why I share my experience is because I don't want people to learn the hard way. At least if I could have one person not learn the hard way, then it's worth it to me. But again, no matter what I say, no matter what Freely and Durin Rider, no matter what Fully Raw Christina says, research it. Think about it. Does this make sense? Apply it to your life. You got to go through that process. You don't just be a sheeple. I mean, we talk about it. Don't be a sheeple, and yet people are being sheeples in the raw food movement, and sheeple is sheep people. They just follow what everyone else says. Don't just follow what everyone says. Follow what you feel is right, and that's why I make videos about molding the idea of 80-10-10 into your lifestyle. Make it work for you, because what works for you might not be working for me. If you really like sauerkraut, eat sauerkraut. Like, it's fine. You know, like, it's not the end of the world. I don't like sauerkraut. I'm not going to eat it. You know, some people, they ask me a lot about oats, and I don't like oats. I think they're disgusting. But I know my boyfriend has them, and it works into his high-carb vegan kind of lifestyle. And, you know, he's not exactly strict high-carb vegan either. He eats a lot of junk food. But, you know, you just got to work on your food journey and take into account what other people are saying and doing, but don't be inundated with it. I think that's really what I'm trying to say. And for me, the 80-20 idea works very well because I don't feel deprived, and it gives me that little leeway when I go out to dinner with my boyfriend and his parents to not look that weird. You know, I'm not eating a raw salad or something. You know, I am having substantial food, and I don't feel as out of place. And it's important sometimes. And I know it's important not to care what other people think, but at the same time, you don't want to feel that socially out of place where you can't even go out to a restaurant and enjoy your time there because you're too worried about the salt and the fat. Like, just, for me, I got to make room for that because I don't want to be alienating myself in my social life, because my social life is already pretty small because I'm really, really an introvert, really shy, and I stay away from those kind of things. So if any chance I get to go socialize, and I should be able to do that without being hindered by my lifestyle. Okay. Long video there. Sorry about that, guys. I hope you guys are having a very happy and healthy day, and I will see you later. Bye.